There we go. I'm almost there. Hang on. Hang on just a second. There. There we are. Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday again. Let me fix this other camera. There, I think that's good. These things should be set up ahead of time, right? But they're not always set up right. All right, I think we're set. All right, it's Wednesday. So, welcome, everyone. We are here every Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time to do this here. There we go. To share some energetic updates. In fact, 3 reasons you might want to follow this channel is maybe you're an advanced healer and what used to work is just not working anymore and it frustrates you. And you know that you've got so much to give, but there's just some things in the way. A second reason you might want to follow this channel is that you're done isolating yourself. You can feel this pull to want to connect with other people and communities, but there's again something blocking you. We're going to be talking about some of those things on this channel. And a third reason you might want to follow this channel is you're a truth seeker. So we calibrate everything here. That's how we know what's true. All right, so let's get started. Let me see who's here today. We've got some people. I love hearing where you're calling in from. Let's see, which glasses do we have today? Okay, we're going to go with these glasses. It has been such a busy day, busy week. We've got some exciting announcements of things that have been happening. And here, as I clear my glasses. So let's see who's here. And we've got Florida. Welcome, Eleanor. Marianne, some of our regulars here. Nancy, great to have you here. And Teresa Gray from Colorado Springs. We're going to be going on a great adventure. Florida, welcome. It's like a community here. Everybody's saying hi to each other. That's awesome. Because we are a nice little community. Welcome, Louisiana and Texas. Great. And today I'm going to see if I can remember to get over to Instagram. I forgot all about you last time and I apologize. So we will be checking in with you guys there as well. So, let me get comfy here. All right. So tonight we have a few updates to talk about. So one, we, as of a week ago, we did break through a new threshold with raising the millivolts of light from the previous threshold of 450 all the way to infinity. So what does that mean? It means that now we have access to more light. So the more light we can hold in our physiology, it means more information. And so the more information we can access, the more we know how our body is actually supposed to function. So now we have access to all new levels of this knowledge and information that will be coming in. And it'll be showing up differently for everyone. Depends on what level you're at, how you go about getting your answers and information. So it's going to be different for everyone. Some of the things that we've been doing a deep dive with, been working especially with an advanced, very advanced student, and we have been exploring the DNA. As a matter of fact, that's how we reached these new levels of millivolts of light. We were clearing the DNA. We found fallen angels in there. We've discovered so much. In fact, we spent another 2 hours on the DNA today. And so I'm pleased to report that some new energies we have found, discovered, and cleared are there. There is, we, I'm so excited, a little tongue-tied. Today we cleared what I believe is the core driver for the energy that's been on the planet that's been driving this slave planet. So in the past, we've talked a lot about the energies that keep us in this endless loop of proving our worth and value. And so today we found those deep core programs locked into the heart of the DNA under won't even go into the levels of deep architecture that we're uncovering and getting to all these different programs that are buried under lock and key and curses and demons and guards and you just would not believe the levels. Oh, hang on, that we're going to. So that means, hang on. Okay, you're probably looking at my crotch. I didn't mean to do that. Hang on a second. My camera, I forgot to do it. I thought I did it, but I didn't push start, so that was the problem. Okay, so okay, we'll just have to go from there. All right, sorry about that, cause. All these things you have to remember. Okay, so we're back. Okay, so in our DNA, we reached a new threshold. We cleared some new energies that are related to this slavery energy that's been on the planet, where humanity has been trying to prove their worth and value, constantly pushing, driving, forcing. And some of this energy has been connected to our actual survival. Like you have to prove your worth and value. In the past, if you didn't, you would die. So there's some really deep programming around these ancient energies that have been driving the planet. So that was one really important key frequency that we found today. And then another thing we found was we found these programs that related to this new level of what I'm calling spiritual authority for the priestess energy. And so that's to me what priestess energy is. When you're accessing and embodying the priestess energy throughout your entire energy field, and ideally you would be either in 5D or 12D, that you're going to be holding a whole new level of spiritual authority. And this is what is driving a lot of the spiritual ascension, the spiritual path that we're all on, or all many of you that are here are on this ascension timeline. And so when we can access these new levels of spiritual authority with the priestess energy, then we would be able to do that. So we have been clearing and unlocking many of the programs that have been keeping the priestess from really accessing all of her gifts. A big part of what was included in that is at our sixth chakra. I haven't been finding spells in a very, very long time. And in the last couple days, we've been finding spells. And so spells are much more subtle than, say, these curses, which are, they feel caustic, they feel very aggressive and very harsh. Whereas if you're under a spell, like a love spell, you would just feel pulled and inclined in a certain direction, and it would feel normal and natural, and it would be easy and gentle. And so this is what we were clearing today, where the spells, it was happened to be in the sixth chakra, and we're talking about working with the DNA. So in that sixth chakra, where these spells were keeping this delusional image of what it means to be in our power, and this all related to the priestess energy. And so this has all been interesting because it's going to unfold differently for different people depending on what their level of spiritual authority is, to what degree they're still in their false ego, and the like. However, in order for us to operate in these higher priestess energies, we also need to have that balance with the priest energy. So these are a lot of the energies that we've been clearing. And then when you get to the high priestess and the high priest, those also are now getting balanced throughout the field. So if you have been an advanced healer that has felt like you can't access new levels, like you feel a little like tapped out, like you're up against a glass ceiling, that would be a really good opportunity to work with me just for 30 minutes to help you get through some of these new levels that we're starting to access now. And we can clear boatloads in just 30 minutes. It's pretty phenomenal. And so these 30-minute sessions are really designed for people who already have their own methods or tools of maintaining their frequency, clearing energies and so forth, but they feel like they just need a second set of eyes to get through some blocks or help them get to a next level. So if you're an advanced healer and feel kind of stuck in that level, that 30-minute session would be a great opportunity for you. So if you're not finding it on my website, which is it still might be getting up, that you can email support@kimberlysherry.com and just ask for the 30-minute session link, and it will also come with a place to schedule. So that would be a really great way of accelerating your growth and expansion because it's just like an energy hack. It just really very precise, very direct, and very efficient. These clearings that I'm doing now, I've reached new levels that just amazing. So anyway, that was another thing I wanted to talk about. This new spiritual authority of the priestess that we've entered. Let's see what else. Okay, great. Okay, good. Let's change subjects. Another thing I wanted to talk about was our ideal body image. Now, a lot of people, when they feel like they have excess weight, they might make an avatar to lose weight, or maybe they'll create a vision board to lose weight. And so this is sort of some of the play on words that are being used against us. So I would replace lose weight because ins intuitively our body will resist it immediately because we don't want to lose things. Instead, I would create an avatar for your ideal body image. And so you're not even talking about weight. It's just how you want to see yourself. And so in the creative rings that are above the head for your avatar that you're going to create for creating this ideal body image is you might put down your ideal goal weight, or you might put down the size of clothing you'd like to be wearing. That could be another way of helping to target the direction that you want to go. And it's also about how you want to feel. You want to really just feel better in your body. A lot of people are sort of in hiding, and they just because there's been so many programs being used against us that are causing us to hold excess body weight, congesting our kidneys, our lymphatic system, which that's what all the belly fat is basically is. It's just congested lymph. And so this is all sort of in the direction as well as bringing us to accessing more of the information that I've been talking about, this infinite intelligence, this infinite millivolts of light that we now have access to in our body. So when we're creating this ideal body image avatar, put in the rings how you want that to be. And then the last chapter in my book, if you've not seen my book, it's called Access Your Ultimate Power, the Blueprint to Infinite Intelligence, available on Amazon. And the last couple of chapters in there talk about how to use avatars. And so it's basically just the image of a person. This is the image I encourage people to use. So it looks like that. And that image is what you will use to run energy through. And so you're going to want to make sure it's grounded. It's got the 5 parts of being ultra grounded. And as you run energy through this avatar, you're going to find the places that are blocking your ability to get to your ideal body image. So if you need more help with that, you can always ask support. And also, another great way to get help, I know you guys come here and we're going to be answering some questions momentarily, live questions, and that's always fun. But another place that you might want to get some actual help that is a little bigger than just a little Band-Aid or a finger in the dike that every first Thursday of the month, which is going to be tomorrow, so happy July. We're already here in July. The first Thursday of every month, we do our luminary activation. It's an hour-long activation where I walk you through the whole process that's outlined in my book. And we get you back in your body, ultra grounded, being able to give and receive, and fully back in your body. I think I already said that, so that's twice. We're going to get you in your body. And tomorrow's theme is all about the golden age. So we are no longer waiting for what we see coming down the pike. We're actually just creating what it is we desire. And most of us are looking towards connecting with other people, building communities. I know that that's the direction I'm going and have already implemented some steps to start creating a community. As a matter of fact, maybe it was about a month ago, I talked about a particular platform. It's called retribalize dot AI, maybe. You'll be able to find it. Anyway, it's a platform that connects you with other people who are also looking to build communities, and that connected me with about 5 possible people that were of alike profiles. And so I've started reaching out to them. I've already talked to a couple of those people, and so this is where you start. You just start connecting with people. I'm also going to be going to Italy in August. So this is going to be a big month for me. Also, there's a big pull there. As a matter of fact, there's a 12D community in Damanhur in northern Italy that I'm going to be visiting, and there's an amazing. They have these amazing underground temples that if you go to their website, which is damanhur.org, so it's DAMANHUR.org, and they have a couple of videos there that will take you underground to where their temples are. And if you're sensitive, many of you are that come here are very sensitive, you'll be able to feel the energies that are just so palpable and so powerful. So I'm excited to be going there to visit those communities. And that's all part of just the direction that I'm headed towards building my own community. I believe that all the principles that are outlined in this book, Access Your Ultimate Power, that all of these principles in here can be applied to an entire community. And if we're all living by these principles, then our life is going to flow. We're going to be in a higher resonance. We're going to be operating from a higher dimension. Anything that feels off balance or out of coherence gets resolved with this system. So I'm super excited about applying it to an entire community. We've been applying it to our money vibrations. We've been applying it to our dream space. We've been applying it to the DNA. We've been applying it to all kinds of things. And so I say, why not apply it to a whole community? So I'm excited about seeing how that's going to work out. And I just keep moving in that direction. So that's another thing that I'm moving towards. So the ideal body weight, that is or your ideal body image, that's just another avatar that you can use to create that. Okay, another thing. How do you calibrate if you're dehydrated or not? Because I believe that as more of us are moving towards these higher dimensions, that our eating and the way we eat is going to change. I know that for myself, it is organically moving more towards eating mostly fruit, some vegetables, some very, very few vegetables. I'm still eating a little bit of salmon, but the way that I'm eating is organically changing as I'm operating from these higher frequencies. And one thing that can be calibrated is whether or not you're dehydrated. Now, I notice I'm drinking a lot less water the more fruit that I'm eating. And I tend to be, I tend to be drawn towards juicier kinds of fruits like watermelon and oranges or tangerines and grapes. They have a lot of water in them, and this is structured water. So when we're hydrating our bodies throughout the day with this structured water, we're not going to need to drink as much water. So we can calibrate if we're dehydrated or not. Another way to check, I didn't check this beforehand, but okay, good. You can take your skin and pull it up like that and see how quickly it recedes. If it stays up, like if it stays like that, then that's a sign that you're dehydrated. But if it just goes back down, then you're not dehydrated. So that's one way you can check. You can also calibrate it. So if you know how to count, measure, use your dowsing tool. Um, is mine here? Yes, mine is here. So if you're not used to using a dowsing tool, this is your yes or no. And so you can ask, am I dehydrated? Yes or no, and see what it says. So I've done other videos about how to use this thing. So you can go back and check those. So that's also really important that you stay hydrated. All right. So there's that. Another thing I wanted to talk about today. How are we doing on time? Okay, great. So another thing that I was checking this past week was our claustrum, because it feels like things have shifted and changed. So if you've been following, you would know that a while ago, I followed our claustrum, maybe it was about a year ago, every day for 3 months because I wanted to know exactly how our claustrum worked. So some of you may be familiar with it as it's referred to as the Christ fluid or the Christ oil. And so people have thought that this oil is secreted from this part of your brain and goes on a journey down your spine. And so I wanted to discover how much of that was true. And actually, a very, very, very small percentage of that was true. They used to think it was activated by the first moon of your sun sign. I don't know. They made it very convoluted. So I just wanted to find out simply how it works. So I tracked it. And so the first thing I did was I discovered, well, where is it? If it's on a journey, in fact, that's how I originally started tracking it. They say if it goes on a journey down and up your spine. So I felt along my spine to find out, well, where is it? And it was on its way up. And so I tracked it a few days later. It was different and different and different. Now, in the beginning, when I first started tracking this, it took a really long time for this whole process. It was, I want to say maybe it was about a week, maybe it was even longer. I have totally forgotten by now, but it doesn't even matter because now it is so fast. It is so fast. Let me tell you, let me find the piece of paper first that I wrote it all down. And here it is, bear with me. Okay. So the claustrum, and the reason that this is important is because our claustrum, I'll tell you what the claustrum really is. The claustrum is a part of our brain that's responsible for our consciousness. Now, that's the number one reason why you don't know much about it. They don't want you to know about this part of your brain that's responsible for your consciousness. The claustrum does not secrete oil. It doesn't secrete anything because only glands secrete things. It's actually a bundle of nerves. It's a bundle of nerves that emits a frequency that when it takes its journey, it imbues the spinal fluid. So there's your fluid. It imbues the spinal fluid with the knowledge, information, codes, downloads, whatever you want to call it, into the spinal fluid so that when that fluid and that is traveling down the spine and back up again, that it is informing all the parts of your physiology how it should operate and work. And so for many people, their claustrum is not even operating. It's not even functional. It is like at 0%, maybe 3%. That's not going to do much good of anything. So this really important part of our brain, first of all, needs to be activated. Once it's activated and it is at your brain 100%, when it's at your brain and at 100%, that's when you can personally interact with your claustrum and reprogram it for how you want it to operate when it takes this journey up and down your spine. Excuse me. So that's one part. Another part is that hang on for a second. So our claustrum, when it's taking this journey down the spine and it travels down and then back up again, when it gets back up to the brain, I've found it as low as 3%. So it comes back up to the brain, 3%. Well, then it has to recharge. It has to recharge back up to 100%. And then when it's at 100%, that's when you reprogram it. When it's done being reprogrammed, it's going to take off on its journey down the spine. So let me give you an idea of how long that takes. So when I tracked it this last time, I tracked it over 2 cycles because I was just curious, is it the same or is it getting shorter? Because the last time I did this, the more attention I focused on it, the shorter it got. So the same thing happened. So the first time I checked it, it took 2 hours from the time it got back up to the brain from 3% up to 100%. That took 2 hours. Before, this would take like all day. It was a very long process. So now it only took 2 hours. The second time, it only took 50 minutes from the time it got up to 3% in the brain all the way up to 100%. It only took 50 minutes. Then it stays, when it's up to 100%, it's going to stay there so it can get recharged and you can reprogram it. Now, the first time that was it stayed up at 100% for 20 hours. And then the second time, it cut it in half. It was only 10 hours where it was at 100%. It could be reprogrammed. So this is a very short window that you have to pay attention to reprogram it. And then when it took its circuit down the spine and back up again, the first time it took only 4.5 hours. Now, it seems like the very first time I ever checked this, it took days for it to go all the way down and back up again, like a week, it seemed like. So now the first time it only took 4.5 hours to get from 100% all the way down the spine and back up again to where it would be 3%. And then the second time, because it was at like about 9 p.m. when it took off again. So then I was mostly asleep while it was on its journey. So that took a lot longer. It took 11 hours before it got back up. I think in the morning, it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and then it was back up to the brain at 3%. But that gives you an idea of how long this process takes. So charging it from 3% to 100% can take 2 hours to 50 minutes. And then where it stays in the brain at 100% getting reprogrammed, you have between 10 and 20 hours to reprogram it. If you don't reprogram it, it's just going to do its thing. But if you can interact with it, then why not? I know for myself, while it was in that 10 and 20 hours, I listened to the Sophia codes. I reprogrammed it with those codes so that could operate in my system as it went on its journey. And then the journey can take 4 hours. It could take 11 hours. It depends when it takes off. So some interesting things about the claustrum and how we can interact with it so that we can further accelerate and amplify how our physiology is supposed to work. Now, we're not meant to age the way humanity has been aging. And for those of you who have been following, maybe you noticed my radiance. And I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back or like, pump myself up. I mean, it's evident. Y All you have to do is see. So, I am operating from a higher light frequency, and I think it's showing, and so, if you want the same, do what I'm doing and keep coming back and learn how to do it. So that's my gist on the claustrum. All right, let's see what else I want to talk about here. I think I'll save this next one for next week. Got about 25 minutes left. I want to talk about vision boards because we have a new moon that will be coming up, and how you can, the best way, the most powerful way to create the most powerful vision boards on the planet. I've got a system that I've created, and I'll be giving a special offer for you next week. So come back for that if you don't have it already. And then just one last thing that I want to say, because a lot of people are attached to their gadgets, the red light masks and um, all the stuff. I know I have also been guilty of the things and the devices and to especially for our face. And I even wanted to talk at the in Los Angeles. They had this longevity conference. I forget the name of it, but I wanted to be a speaker there because it feels like everybody is just promoting a gadget or a thing, or when I believe we don't need gadgets. We just need to access our own gadget. This is our gadget here, and if we can learn how to operate it optimally and access it like programming our classroom. That's a very interactive way, but it takes a little more responsibility, right? It's a little more effort. It's not flip a switch and just lay there and have the device do a thing. We have to really engage and activate our physiology in order for it to operate optimally. But it's far more effective, looks far more natural, and it's how we're meant to operate. So why not, right? Okay, that's my spiel for tonight. Let's see what kind of questions you guys have. Thanks everybody for showing up tonight. Let's see, what do we got as far as questions? And I promise I will go over to Instagram. So be sure to ask your questions there as well. What do we got? You can't hear me. That was, I think if you couldn't hear me now, you would have said something. Okay, I think that's old. All right, Krita. Are there any infiltrations lurking in my field? There's this male tantric course I'm in, but anytime I listen to the coach, I feel a pain in my left side of my neck. What is that? Well, it's interesting that you're talking about this tantric course. I don't know if it's the same one, probably not, but I've been working with another person that's involved in the tantric field, and we have just been absolutely flabbergasted at the levels of infiltration and distortion, and at the same time, like, but of course, uh, that the people not grounded, not in their hearts, in their ego, just out of integrity. And so, yeah, I'll take a look here, Krita. So first of all, this course, I want to calibrate the course first, just to see where we're starting from. It's only operating at 250, a very low frequency. So while it may sound good and the ideas are good, they're good ideas, it's not coming from a pure source. I'm going to calibrate the person, and you don't even have to tell me who it is. I'm just going to tap into the quantum field, and the person that is leading this course, or who has created this course, just as I suspected, has no grounding cord, has no rings, and heart zero. So an NPC has created this course, maybe AI, if it's an online course, that they know all the right words. They know all the right words to say. They know how to market it effectively. They know all the pictures and graphics and all the things to pull you in, but it is perpetuating the distortions on the planet. So I see you have another question here. Let me see what that says. Also, I wanted to join this Kriya Yoga initiation. Does that resonate at infinity for me? I'm also experimenting with going beyond sleep. Are there any programs that I can clear for that? Okay, so a lot of questions here. Well, first of all, you were asking about that pain in your left side of your neck. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. So hang on. Sorry, it says the left side. Yeah, there's cords so that the instructor is plugged into your neck with a lot of fury. You have some unresolved past lives, so maybe this is not a robot that created this, but there's cords that are in your neck that are wanting to affect your communication. So what the messages you're able to receive. This is a big piece of what we've been learning this past week around communication and how much in the DNA, the communication has been cut off, blocked from the spiritual realm, from being able to access all the ways that the spiritual realm is helping us to connect to our bodies, to the earth, to the elements. And so, yeah, there's that. You also wanted to know if the Kriya Yoga, that's at 500, which means you'll like it, but is it really going to move the needle? Let's see if there's something in you to clear to make that higher. No. So it's an okay program, probably not worth your money. Just saying. As a matter of fact, their money frequency is also set at that same frequency of 500. So you're also experimenting with going beyond sleep. I think what you mean by that is going beyond sleep, like going beyond needing sleep. I think, isn't that what you mean? Because a lot of the breatharians and so forth, after time, they also don't need to sleep much. So I think that's what you're talking about. In the root chakra, there's programs, 500. So the root, 10th layer, which is going to affect your communication with the spiritual realm. So they're blocking your ability to hear how you're being directed by the spiritual realm to even know how to do that or what would be next. So that would be my suggestion, is to clear that. All right, let's go to Instagram because we've been neglecting you for weeks here. Okay, no questions. All right. If you have a question, let's try again on Instagram. Okay, so we're back over here. Eleanor, I would like to know, what is the journey of my claustrum today, if it's activated? So Eleanor, great. Your claustrum is operating at, so the claustrum is an actual part of the brain. That's operating at 100% and infinite millivolts. So that's great. Where is it on its journey? Let's find that out for you. So it's actually right at the brain. So it's back at the brain. It's only at 3%. So it just arrived back at the brain, which means if you can track it with maybe your dowsing tool or whatever to find out when it's up to 100, is it at 100? Yes or no? Then when it reaches 100, then you can program it, how you want it to operate. So if there's anything in your physiology that's not operating right, or you want more help with it, tell it how you wanted to be operating? What would be the end outcome if that part of your body was operating optimally? Maybe that's a better way to say it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, great. Thanks for asking. That's how you start is you yep, have to ask your physiology. Okay, here's this is a new person. LA, I would like a scan. How does that work? So, oh, Lydia, okay. Lydia, I just tap into your quantum field and I'll tell you a few things. Like, number one, the first thing I always check is if you're grounded, because that's the most important thing about our energetic anatomy is that it must be grounded. Yours is not grounded, so you don't have a grounding cord. So here's what I would suggest for those of you who are on, you can see the QR code at the top of the screen. That will take you to my link tree. In there, you will find a 20-minute meditation that I suggest you listening to. And if that's too hard or too much trouble, it's free. But if you want a more fun, interactive way, join us tomorrow where we're going to be doing the luminary activation. And we're going to be getting everybody grounded back in their bodies. We're going to be running our energy. We're going to be doing this for an entire hour. So I really go deep with these things. And of course, the focus is all about the golden age and how we're not waiting. We're living that reality, starting to live that reality now. So, and also this luminary activation tomorrow is the first day of a 12-day program that we run every other month. And so we will be doing 12 days of meta clearing. So every morning, if you're new, only join the advanced. Only join the foundational program. It's 8 o'clock in the morning for 20 minutes every morning, except the weekends. And all the details are in the link there. But if you're new, only join the foundational program. We go deep with this stuff. This is really powerful stuff. We're not kidding around here. If you're new, be prepared. So yes, so Lydia, well, just by telling you, this is how fast you are. So now you're grounded just by letting you know. But there's likely some other things. You've got infinite rings. Your receiving hand is blocked. So that's just, a couple things that we check, and we'll be doing this for an entire hour tomorrow. So if you really want a good thorough clearing, join us. The admission fee is only $49. You'll spend way more than that going out to dinner. So anyway, that would be great. All right, here's Alma. This is also a new person. I have a conflicting relationship with my sister. I'm wondering if it should be in her pregnancy journey. Oh, if you should be involved in her pregnancy journey. Well, that would be up to her. Whenever there's conflict in a relationship, the thing that I like to check first is whether or not you have unresolved past lives. With a sister, most likely. As a matter of fact, I'm getting a yes. So you have a 5 and she has 3 unresolved past lives. So that needs to be cleared before you can figure out this next answer, which is if you should be involved in the pregnancy. So some of the things that you can clear that are related to this past life is in your 6th chakra. In the 2nd layer, there's a lot of fury. So it's hard to see things clearly. You guys don't see things. You're not quite on the same page as far as how you see things. So that needs to be cleared. And then in your root chakra, there's curses. So about 500 curses. Maybe you deserve that. I don't know. So she's got a lot of curses on you. And so, Yeah, unless she has invited you to be in on her pregnancy. Hmm. Yeah, I would clear all of that first, and then you can, check yes or no. Should I be involved in my sister's pregnancy? But all that needs to get cleared first. All right, let's see what else we have here. We've got 10 more minutes. Uh, okay, so Kimberly is asking if MWA is MW a good person that has been trying to help me? I'm curious how much she calibrates. Okay, so this MW, first of all, does not have a grounding cord. That doesn't make her a bad person. It just means she's not grounded. And how many rings? Hmm. She has an infinite number of rings, so she's a master creator. But with no grounding cord, she's probably creating a lot of instability and chaos comes to mind. She's got a lot of fury in her field, 100%. And so that's what's kicking her out of her body. She's only occupying her body 3%. So it's not like she's a bad person. She just is congested and could use a good grounding cord and having her energy flow so that she's not holding all of this furious energy that makes her feel uncomfortable and irritated and annoyed and frustrated. Uh, so if you're getting someone to help you, they need to be further along than you. So you're grounded, but she is not grounded. So in that sense, don't know how much she can help you if she's not even grounded. Um, she also has a low money frequency, so I'm not sure how she's trying to help you, if it's in your business or what, but she can only elevate you to that frequency, which is not elevated. Your money frequency is it's at infinity. So that doesn't look like a good match as far as someone who's trying to help you, especially if it's related to business. One other thing I want to check. She's not in her ego, so that's one good thing. I mean, she probably means well, but she's got some of her own work that needs to get done first before she can really effectively help you. What do you need help with? Maybe I can help you. All right. Take that out of there. Okay, good. Marianne would love a scan. You're grounded, Marianne. Great job. Is anyone corded to you? No. No one's corded to you. So great job. I'm going to skip you, Krita, because that was already a lot of questions. Susan, okay. I woke up with broken blood vessels in my right eye today. Never hurt my eyes in my sleep before. Any ideas why this would happen? Kind of afraid to sleep now. Well, this would be a perfect opportunity to create a sleep avatar because that's not grounded now. So the avatar, that picture that I showed you before, that avatar has no grounding cord. There's about 500 of those programs at the root chakra, not allowing it to get grounded. So it's not going to feel safe when you go to sleep, which is exactly what happened. And so you manifested the belief that it's not safe. Which came first, chicken or the egg? Hard to tell. At any rate, it's there now. Let's see. Yeah, there's your oversoul is not in this space either. So that's stuck at the top of the rings. So your sleep avatar needs some help. But more importantly, and I'm not a doctor, but when you have broken blood vessels, it makes me want to check a few other things, like one, your blood pressure. Um, it feels high. Um, right now, it's only about 3% of normal. So let's see what's creating this additional pressure uh, in your blood vessels, in your circulatory system. So number one, you're not grounded. You don't have a grounding cord. So that immediately creates a backup of pressure. So you need to get grounded. There's 100 black boxes or programs at your root chakra preventing you from getting grounded. So that's number one. Your heart is fine. That's operating at 100% and infinite millivolts. So this new threshold that we just crossed last week of going from 450 millivolts to infinity, people that aren't even doing anything with me, it's the consciousness that has elevated to this new level of access to our cellular light. So your heart is operating fine, and the vessels 100%, the veins 50%, and then the capillaries only 3%. So as that gets smaller and smaller, it starts to get more and more in trouble. Another thing that it would make me want to check is your fascia. So that's not operating very high either. That's only operating at 3%. So the fascia is an incredibly important network that goes throughout our physiology. It's around every organ, all of our muscles. It holds trauma. It's made up mostly of water. And so it's a really important part of our physiology that drains or releases energy into the lymphatic system that then releases it into the kidneys. So you've got a few things that are off that could have contributed to the broken capillaries in your eyes. So if you're interested in getting some of that cleared with me, then you could work on a 30-minute session. Email support@kimberlysherry.com if you're interested in getting some help there. And even just joining us tomorrow for the luminary activation, that in and of itself would also help. Again, the admission fee is only $49, and that would get you grounded back in your body. All the fear, anger, fury that's built up in your system would be released. Your pressure would go way down. So that's also another option. Some people don't like groups and they would rather do it private, but it's up to you. Either way would be helpful. Sandy, can I scan you? Of course. You're not getting more clients. Okay, well, you're grounded and flowing. However, your money frequency, it's at 500, which is, you could make enough that way, but you're certainly not going to be breaking through that glass ceiling threshold. 765. In your root chakra is where you're not aligned with your money. And being that it's your money frequency is only at 500, you need to drain. Who do you need to drain out of your money pile? Family. Maybe it seems like a sister. I think you have a sister. Yeah, I would drain her out of your money pile. And and then if you were to create an avatar for your business, so your business avatar is not grounded. There's programs at the root, about 100 of those black boxes. So clear that out of the avatar's root chakra so that your business can get grounded. Other than that, and then your left receiving hand, so that's another reason you're not receiving more clients. Programs, 50 programs at that left hand, so clear that. And then the one other thing, so I know you've been working as I'm talking, so the money frequency is now at infinity. And so now bring that liquid gold stream of energy into the top of your rings and let that filter down through all of your creative rings where all your intentions and dreams and desires live for your business and for your life. Let that money come down through there. Yeah, but at the root chakra, there's some curses there, about 100. So clear that too. And so that should probably help. Oh, well, I'm gonna go back to Instagram one more time because you didn't ask any questions this week, but okay, no questions. That's okay. Maybe next time. All right, I think we're pretty much done. Namaste to you as well. Nancy wants to know about her CEO and board meeting tomorrow. It's not grounded. Clear some programs at the root chakra of that avatar, and that should help. Yeah, I think that's the only thing. And then we'll take one more. We'll take one more with Eva. Hey, Kimberly, I'm joining the Luminary program. Will this help my son clear his energy from any blockages? Are you talking about if your son does it with you, or if you do the program, will it clear him? I'm not sure about that. But if you're joining, let him listen along with you. I don't have any objections to that. So, yeah, it's not, if you've purchased the program and you want your family to join you, that's fine. Just have your family join, and then you could all be aligned together and elevating that way. So tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to be doing our luminary activation. So join us if you want to get some deeper clearing than what happens here. I'm not really doing clearing. Sometimes people clear things because they're just very capable, but I'm not really doing any clearings here. However, tomorrow, you're going to be doing a lot of clearing. You're going to be doing a lot of clearing, and I'm going to be watching, and I'm going to make sure that happens and that we all end up at the finish line at the same place. And so tomorrow's luminary activation, the golden age, is day one of a 12-day program, deep dive into sovereign living. So both of those links are available in that QR code. You could also find it on my website, KimberlySherry.com. And so hopefully you'll join us. It's going to be a great deep dive. It always is, right? All right, sending so much love until next week, or tomorrow. Until tomorrow, I'll say that. I'll see you all in the morning. All right, sending blessings. Namaste.